that, record on the computer, and I will share my screen here in a second for the icebreaker. Okay, so you're gonna go into this Padlet. Let me copy and put into the chat. Okay, so you're gonna go into this Padlet. This is just fun. It's random. It has nothing to do with anything, but we're here just to break, have a quick fun little thing before we get started. You're gonna imagine you're living in a space station. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this space station starts to malfunction and you have to evacuate. You only have 5 items that you can bring with you because, you know, like density and mass and all the other science things. So you've got 5 items that you're allowed to bring with you. What 5 items would you bring? And then be prepared to, a couple of you be prepared to explain why. So go to that Padlet. I got someone else joining, so there's that link again. All right, let's go see the let's take a look at the answers as they pop up.
Hey, can you send the Padlet again? My internet keeps cutting out, and I don't think it's sent on my side. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm excited to see these answers. I'll narrate while y'all are working on this. If I had to pick 5 things, assuming my living animals were on there with me, that would be 4 of my 5 items. So then I really guess I only have 1. Where are we going? These are a lot of questions to be answered. I guess I'd bring like any space pets and food and water, a ray gun, a map to Earth. I love it. Follow-up question. What if you're on a spaceship because something happened to the Earth? Then what's your map to? Spacesuit, small snack, oxygen tank, water, Bible, all very logical things to bring. On a real note, though, whoever said map to Earth, I do want to know the answer to the follow-up question, which is what happens if Earth isn't around and that's why we're on the spaceship? Okay, I see a picture or object of loved ones, a spacesuit, a weapon, packet of food and water, oxygen tank. Yes, a different planet or different universe. Yes, that would be cool. Find those wormholes. Assuming there aren't people or pets, food, water, oxygen, radio. Yes, those are all very logical. I thought of none of those except for my 4 animals, assuming they were there. I thought of none of those things. Camera, Air Force Ones, chessboard, some pink lemonade, and survival items. I love it. Oh, here's our other TA. Okay. All right, I'm loving these. I'm definitely gonna come back and read all of these in a little bit, but I do want to move on so we have time for everything and then questions at the end. So with that, um, hop back over onto Zoom if you are on the Padlet. Um, Today we're going to do a Unit 2 debrief and then look at Unit 3 and what's coming up. So the plan for today, we're going to start with the debrief. We have a little activity here that we're going to do, and then we're going to jump into an introduction for Unit 3, and then talk about big assignments that are coming up and some due dates. But with that, we're about to go into different breakout rooms to discuss with a partner some of the following questions. You're going to discuss one question per breakout room. So I will copy and paste the question you should be talking about into the chat so you know what you're talking about. I put 8 minutes with the idea of like 4 and 4. So you'll split the time in half and have 4 minutes and 4 minutes to talk, and then be prepared to come back and discuss full group. This won't be a huge long thing, but I do want to hear some of your thoughts. And if it does turn into a huge long thing, that's a-okay. I'd love to hear all of your thoughts. So with that, let me stop sharing my screen so I can get all of that and do my breakout rooms, which I'm still attempting to learn how to do. Not great at the breakout rooms. Okay. I need to be able to make more than just one breakout room. That's fine.
Are
Interesting.
you able to click on the little arrow that'll move the number up?
It's moving the number up now. It was not moving the
Okay.
number up a second ago. So, and
It's pretty
stopped-
temperamental.
Mhm. Yeah, we've done breakout rooms in here before and it stopped at 5.
No.
It's okay. This is fine. Cool. Well, then we can, how many people would you go in one, Dr. M, or are you just gonna hang out with me if they're in break, if I can fix this? I got it. Okay. We're good.
I'll probably hang out with you.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to put you in breakout rooms real quick. Honestly, I don't know why I keep going to this particular thing because we've all experienced how terrible I am at switching partners here, but the more practice we have, the better, right? So here is the questions y'all should be discussing for the next 8 minutes. Let me make sure that timer no longer says 15 minutes because that's not how long we're in there. All right, so I'm going to send y'all off to your breakout rooms. Take these 8 minutes to have this conversation about how you're feeling after learning about different aspects of conflict and communication and everything that comes with that, the culture, conflict styles, everything that we've talked about. So how do you feel after learning about those different aspects in Unit 2? With that, I'm going to open up the rooms. Okay, welcome back, friends. So the question was, how do you feel after learning about the different aspects of conflict and communication in Unit 2? So I'm going to sit in silence and wait for y'all to come off and answer that. So the floor is open for y'all.
All right, I got you. I put this pretty simple, but like looking on all the like the categories and categorizing conflict is kind of like categorizing arguments and how you feel during arguments. And honestly, just to put it in the most vulgar and like blunt way, it makes me feel like a dick looking back on like a lot of my previous arguments, being like, wow, I really can categorize how I felt into all these different categories perfectly. But like now, I'll always try to take a step back and resolve it in a way that everyone's satisfied instead of getting heated or trying to avoid it, things like that. But it's always, hindsight is 2020. So every time I look back on conflict, I'm like, man.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, we've all had that moment of where we're like, we learn this and then we go, oh no. Oh no, I remember that one time with that one person. I did not handle that the way I was supposed to. We all have that. But I'm glad you're able to take a step back and use these tools in future conflict to just handle it better and be a better communicator. Who else? Who else would like to share?
I was kind of agreeing, right, what Max was talking about, going back in some conversations, like, yeah, I was not doing anything that you would consider any kind of the rules of communication whatsoever. But at the same time, going and when I do apply it, you can find that, people are not applying them back to you.
Yeah, that's the struggle, and I think I mentioned this at one point when we're specifically talking about conflict styles. Like, yeah, this is your best option. This is how to, I mean, depending on the conflict, right? There are better ways to handle it, but that all depends on what's coming back at you. It's very hard to get to handle conflict with one conflict style when you're getting someone avoiding you or someone competing with you. So definitely seeing that and trying not to imitate that same conflict style. Definitely, that's a struggle. Let's hear from one more person, and then we will go to the next question. I'll do with y'all what I do with my high school students. It's up to y'all how much time we wait, but we can sit here until I get my third person.
I got you. I feel like learning about the conflict styles definitely made me realize like I accommodate probably a lot more than I should. Like just to get out of like a conflict, I'll just go with whatever they're saying. I'm definitely not like a pushover, but I definitely accommodate more than I probably should. That's one of the biggest things I learned.
Yeah, so I mean, hopefully you all kind of noticed as we were going through all of these, like, oh, I do that a lot, and are able to not necessarily change it. It's not necessarily a bad thing that you handle conflict, but just know how to communicate through those feelings in conflict. All right, so I appreciate the three of you um sharing. Sorry, I got distracted. Someone needing to come in. The next question is, what is your big takeaway from Unit 2? So we talked we talked about a lot in Unit 2. We talked about the onion and all the different layers of like building relationships with people. We talked about conflict. There was the culture lesson that we talked about, and the different cultures that we might encounter. And so what is the big takeaway? So while y'all think about what your big takeaway is, same rules apply. It's going to be 8 minutes. It's going to be 8 minutes, and ideally it would be 4 and 4. But I'm going to stop talking for a second so I can focus on these breakout rooms. So y'all take this time to think about your answer, and I'm going to sort these. I'm gonna go with I got it. Gonna go ahead and give myself a pat on the back before I actually know if I'm successful, but I'm pretty positive I got everyone with a different partner. We'll see. If not, just talk to your partner. That's okay. A-okay. Make sure I've got Lily needs to be added into a group. So Lily, one of you is going to have a group of 3. But all right, so the question you should be thinking about is, what is your big takeaway from unit 2? I'm going to open the rooms and y'all have a good time. Let me resume recording. Wait till I think we're still getting people. Okay, we got everyone back. So we're going to do this. The 3 people who spoke last, so Max and Jacob and I believe Ethan were the 3 who spoke last. Y'all are going to pick one person each to answer this question. What is your big takeaway from unit 2? This way we can hear from everybody. So y'all go ahead and make your choices. You can either put it in the chat box or you can come off mute, but make your choice.
I feel horrible, bro. I'm gonna feel bad if I choose somebody. I was thinking Nick too. I was like, Nick, get your little ass. I'm like, I want to hear. But I'm gonna pick Jacob. Jacob looks eager.
No,
Wait,
I went last
Jacob
time.
went last
Dang,
time.
bro. I forgot. I was like, my internet cut out and I forgot.
Yes, so we have Nick this time, chosen by Ethan. So then Max and Jacob, y'all need to
Let's
pick a person.
let's go,
I was just-
Vanessa.
Okay.
I was wondering if Gray really thinks someone put her on the spot, and the answer is yes. Yes, I am. So
All right. So Gray with an E, and then Nick and Vanessa, come off mute. And when you're ready, what is your big takeaway from this unit?
Can y'all hear me? All right. So my biggest takeaway from this unit was, I remember when we did this like activity where we had to, I think it was like 3 words, we had to describe what we thought of conflict was, and most people just wrote negative. And then towards the end of that lesson, most people realized that it doesn't necessarily have to be negative. It's just the way we handle it basically makes it negative or not.
Okay, so I really took away that learning the different conflict styles could be very important to communication, and applying it to kind of different people's conflict styles, and being able to identify what someone else's conflict style is could really help you positively communicate with that person and maybe resolve that conflict. I also really like the idea of the different like dialectics, the pushing and pulling things, like the history, past, present, future one, and the disadvantages, privileges one. Just kind of knowing those different things can help you communicate better with different people and different cultures and things like that. So that's kind of what I took away from it. Thank you.
Okay. Mine was the same as Vanessa. Like conflict isn't always a bad thing. Like you can always learn from it.
Yeah, so I love that y'all brought up that word cloud. So for those of you who don't remember, we did a word cloud at the beginning of the conflict styles lesson where I asked how you felt about conflict, and it was like anxiety, avoid, nope. Like it was all very much like, get that away from me. Don't bring that in this circle. And then at the end of the lesson, I asked you the same question, but it was a lot more confident or a lot more. It was a lot more positive feedback than the first time. So definitely, I'm really glad y'all brought that up, and I'm really glad that kind of stuck with you to see that the way you look at conflict and the way you approach it can make conflict more manageable rather than quite as anxiety inducing. All right, so the next question is which we might have heard a lot of these in our conversations, but what did you learn about yourself within this unit? So I'm expecting to hear a lot of different things about conflict since that's what we mainly focused on, but anything you learned about yourself in this unit. So I'm going to do my breakout rooms again and we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna put myself on mute. Y'all think about this and then we'll come back and discuss, and it will be the same thing. The three who talk this time will pick 3 different people to talk. So let me do this and send y'all in your groups. All right, so I'm gonna open up the rooms and y'all are going to talk about what you learned about yourself in this unit. So y'all have fun. All right, welcome back, friends. Waiting for that number. Okay, we're back. So I believe it was Gray and Vanessa and Nick. Gray with an E. Y'all need to pick a person, and I want to hear from you. What did you learn about yourself in this unit? So, okay, Nick picked lyrical. So if y'all want to put it into the chat, Vanessa and Gray, and then I'll just let them know as it's their turn. So we got Anthony and Lauren. So lyrical Anthony and Lauren, who wants to go first?
Can I go first and get it over with? Okay, so I learned that I always avoid conflict. I've always thought that it was bad and it really stresses me out. So I just always try to avoid it. I also learned that I'm very accommodating to people because I try to avoid it. I'm just trying to get it over with. But now that I know different conflict styles, I know that it doesn't always have to be negative, and I can choose the best one that leads to the better outcome. Yeah.
Okay, I will go. So basically, I feel like I learned why I do things and what the things I do are called. And I also learned what I could do instead of doing that certain thing, you know. I feel like I learned ways to avoid doing that thing if it was negative or if it was positive. I learned how to do it in an appropriate situation.
Is it my turn? Okay, well, overall, I feel like I also tend to avoid conflict most of the time. And I also learned that having a good understanding of conflict can be like beneficial in a way for like future conflicts to come.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing. I am loving hearing how much growth is happening. That's obviously that's what I wanted coming into this. That was the goal. So I'm really glad to be hearing those. So we're going to go ahead and skip down to the, let's see. We're gonna go ahead and skip down to this last question just so we have time for everything else, since we are getting close to time and I want y'all to be able to ask questions. So this last question, how are you going to be able to use what you learned in your day-to-day life? We've heard a lot of this, but what are like specific action steps that you can take to implement some of these things that we have learned? Oh goodness, she's sorry. Technical difficulties called Willow over here. So what action steps, what can you do to use what you learned in your day-to-day life going forward? So think about that, and I'm going to attempt this one more time, and I don't know how I've been doing. I'm hoping okay. Let's go here, and you'll go. I hope you enjoy my narrating, me talking to myself. You'll go here, and you'll go up here. Okay, looks good. So go in 8 minutes. How will you use what you learned in your day-to-day life? So go forth and prosper, friends. All right, welcome back. So lyrical Anthony and Lauren, y'all were the last to speak. So if y'all would not mind picking 3 people to talk, try to make it someone who hasn't spoken yet. So Lauren chose Lily. We need 2 more people. Not to, okay, Alexander. Anthony chose Alex. And one more, lyrical, who is your tribute? All right, while we're waiting on lyrical, Lily or Alex? I'm glad
I'll go
someone
ahead and
noticed the tribute. All right, Lily, go ahead.
So I would say something that I learned about myself that I struggle with is like to tune out when I'm talking to people. And like they'll be talking, and even though I am interested in the conversation, it's like I don't retain any of what they say. So something I could do to help that would be to practice active listening and like asking questions during the conversation to stay engaged and to help myself remember as well. So yeah.
I love it. Okay, so Alex, would you like to go?
Sure. So what I said with my partner, I said that that what I would use to what I used to learn is the stuff that we learned from conflicts, because I didn't know that, because I took conflict as a negative thing, and I didn't know it can be resolved in a positive way. But now that I know, I guess what I would use all the positive aspects of it to fix any like conflict that goes on. I guess that all those aspects should relate to it, but it should work.
Awesome. I love it. That Gray is not here. I read Gray with an E, and I do not see Gray with an A. So Jordan or Paige. I believe Paige hasn't spoken either. Oh, looks like Lyrical picked Jordan. So Jordan, what you got? You got this, girl. I believe in you.
I'm really bad at solving conflicts. I've already known that because I have really poor relationships or like very few. So I guess I should try and work on that. Like usually I kind of let people run over me just so I can like get over it. I don't want to like confront anyone or anything like that. But for me, it gives me like cumulative feelings that get really negative and it just ruins the whole relationship. So
Thank you for sharing. And Paige, did you want to go ahead and share as well?
Yes, I would like to say we could use what we learn in friendships and relationships so we could get like both perspectives of the relationship, because I could take something as a joke and somebody could take it as me being disrespectful to them. So that's not fair on them that I'm being disrespectful and I took it as a joke. And now we could like come together and talk about what made us feel that type of way. So that's good without all the yelling and cursing and all that unnecessary. We could do it in like a positive, respectful way. So learning how to respect each other and learning how to deal with no more miscommunications.
Yeah, so I don't think there will ever not be miscommunication. That's just part of life, but definitely using these skills to try to navigate that miscommunication the best we can. But I'm really glad you even brought up things from the first unit as well, like active listening. I heard a little bit of that where you said like, I say something that I didn't mean as disrespectful, but someone else heard it as that. And then what was implied there is then being like, oh, I hear that you're disrespected. I apologize. That was not my intention. So definitely even bringing in things from that first unit. So I think everyone shared, which was awesome. Let's go back to the screen real quick. We've just got a little bit more to go through, so y'all just hang in there with me. This was a great debrief. I hope y'all take away a lot from the conflict unit, what I'm going to call it. I am putting, this is going to come back at the end of unit 3. It's another one of those word clouds because, you know, we love those word clouds here. So go to the link I just put in the chat, and we're going to look at public speaking. Let me present this. So if I say public speaking, how do you feel? I hope you enjoyed the little GIF. I got a kick out of it when I found it. So I think it gives you 3 box options, and you're just going to put in a word. I'm seeing a lot of anxious, worried, afraid, nervous, scared, sad. Give you all a little bit more time, see which words start getting bigger. Sweat, yes. I mean, you know, if you're looking to sweat out some things, go give a speech, go do public speaking. I know we don't have everyone here, so we might not get as many words. I see anxious, annoyed, choked, shaky, afraid. Yeah, so a lot of words that I imagined we'd see. Anxious is getting a little bigger. Not excited. I'm out. Bye. Yeah. Yeah. So anxious and nervous, those are getting a little bigger, which means people are putting those a lot. Shaken up. Scared is starting to get a little big. Avoid. Okay. So not great, right? These aren't great words. I'm loving the I'm out and bye. Those, I feel that. Okay, so y'all can definitely keep adding. I just want to hop back over to this. Obviously, maybe not so obvious. I probably shouldn't say that. Unit 3 is going to be about public speaking and giving those speeches. And so there's a couple of things, a couple of expectations, both in work and that I have for y'all. Just to let you know, we created that word cloud now. We're going to come back at the end of Unit 3 and do another one and do very similar to that conflict one. Hopefully we have different results. So what to expect? We're going to talk about preparing a speech. We're going to talk about delivering the speech, some apprehension, some communication apprehension, macro structure. We'll talk about how to handle and manage some of that anxiety. It doesn't go away, but we can learn how to manage it. And because this is going to be all about speech and giving speech and doing public speaking, make sure you come prepared to turn your camera on so that we can see our audience. I will give you a heads up, there will be different times where I ask you to do mini presentations where they're like just a couple of minutes long. So you need to come prepared for that. So make sure you're prepared to have your cameras on starting Thursday. For the big assignment, one of the 3 that is required to pass this class, you've got the service informative speech. So we all know my computer decides to not run as soon as I do Zoom and go very slowly. So just give it a second to catch up. Your informative service speech. So again, you've got your worksheet here for the service inventory, but you got 3 options. So all of these are in your syllabus and survival guide, so you can go in and click each of these links and get more, and we'll talk about it more as we get into learning about public speaking. But you can do service learning, where you have to have a minimum of 4 hours serving with a nonprofit organization. If you're going to do this option, you need to let me know ASAP so I can approve it, because you need to have all 4 hours done before the speech is given. So that needs to be something that you do ASAP and get that to me as quickly as possible so I can approve that for you. Option 2 is looking at past service. So I know some of y'all might be active in a church setting or might be active with some nonprofit organization already. So if that's the case, you have past service, you can definitely do the second option. And then the third option is an exploration of service sites. So you would just do research on what you've got in Little Rock, some local nonprofit organizations that you want to learn more about. So if you don't have that volunteer or service experience, you can go research that, bring it into class, and then maybe even that might lead to an opportunity. But we will talk more about that once we've got this interpersonal paper done. So Sunday, October 24th, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to give you wrong days, so let me just make sure I'm on the right page. This Sunday at 11:59 p.m., your interpersonal conflict paper is due. You need to make sure you're getting that into Blackboard. There are submission links there. If you need help, let me know so I can help you with that. But y'all, we've got a minute to go. So are there any questions, comments, concerns that y'all have about anything that we did tonight, including future assignments or current assignments that are almost due? Okay, if there are no questions, comments, or concerns, y'all have a great night. I will see you on Thursday. I appreciate you participating. And I will see you later, friends. Bye, Lauren. You're welcome, Nick. Y'all were great. I guess I can stop recording.